What's up, guys? So today I am at Ryan Novaks' shop doing a little bit of field work, if you want to call it that. So I am working on a couple cars for him, and we're gonna take a quick little tour of what he's got going on at his shop. Check this out. So Ryan's got a full shop here. He's got some cars on some lifts. He's got his Porsche, and you guys maybe have seen this one before. This is his EK. This is a Global Time Attack car. It's also featuring a full wiring job from us. So he's got cooling, wiring, PDM, ECU, AIM digital dash. Pretty awesome car. And the subject today that we are working on is his EG. So as good as his EK is, his EG is actually going to be a great street car. Check this guy out. It's got a Rocket Bunny kit, some nice TE37s with an AP kit. So I wanted to show you guys how we laid out the wiring on this chassis harness. Let me start by the headlight, show you the engine bay, move on to the interior, and then to the exterior of the car. Alright guys, so in the front of the vehicle here we have an indicator, a high beam and low beam headlight, and two radiator fans on the opposite side of this radiator. So if we open the hood, you guys can see that the lights are wired up. You can see the two looms, as well as our dual fan radiator. Those are wired up. And on the right side of the car, we have a headlight with a high beam and a low beam and an indicator, and then the wiring runs under and through right here into the cabin. If we have a look at the cabin, we have a switch panel here. Mr. Novak took the liberty to cover his in carbon. It looks pretty cool. And then we have the EG6 Japanese gauge cluster. This was kind of a must for him. He normally uses digital dashes in his builds, but he wanted to do something a little different for this car, so we were able to incorporate the factory cluster. And we have a brake light switch down there, so there's just like a little plug plugged into the brake for the lights to work. And then his Rywire PDM is mounted right here. You can see there's a power cable to it. Some of the wires are coming kind of straight up. It's not all like tucked away and pretty yet. We're just kind of powering and testing everything today. And then we have a circuit breaker hooked up there too. So he has his starter and his alternator fused through that, as well as his PDM, his Rywire PDM right there. And then in the rear, it would just run along kind of the cage here. Then you can kind of see where his battery's kind of rigged up for now. It's on a little trickle charger, and the harness will continue to the rear of the vehicle. You can kind of see it right there over the tubs, kind of inside the chassis. Plug right there. And then our other loom is going through the factory grommet, which we just cut and kind of put on. It looks really good. And then to the tailgate. So this is a lightweight tailgate, and we got a connector here, the taillight. Other one runs under the chassis kind of through here, and then pops out right here. So that's the tailgate connections on the EG hatchback. Harness goes through, hooks up some tail light plugs, hooks up the reverse lights, the indicators, fuel pump, sender, everything in the rear of the car. Alright, I'm going to run through a little video for you guys so you can see kind of what's going on with our software and our switch panel. So as you could see, the ignition switch is actually on right now. It's on. And our PDM software is showing that it is online and that the master switch is on. So these two green lights right here. Also, you'll see another couple green lights on the outputs right there, output screen, you can see that the ECU and injectors, which is here on pin output number 4, and the coils on output number 8 are both on. So that's good. That means ignition switch is on, our ECU is on, and our ignition coils are on. ECU injectors and some various sensors are on those channels. So those two being on, you can actually see output number 5 right here has 2.6 amps. That's how much it's drawing. It's at 17% of the 15 amps allowed. So 2.6 amps is for our injectors and ECU and everything that's just getting power. And the coils aren't really drawing anything because they're not actually firing right now. Also notice that our battery volts are very low. It's only 11 amps. Total on this whole unit is 2.6 because only thing that's on is 2.6 from the ECU, and our module temperature, you can note that as well. So if you look, we have our switched input screen here, our outputs here, and our functions here. So functions are things that you have to kind of custom write, and on your guys' PDM I actually already wrote a right indicator and left indicator function, so you don't have to be responsible for having the indicators flash for you. Everything's already all done. So everything that I wrote in here, you guys can really see, how I did everything, and you can even probably backwards engineer some of this stuff to figure out how to custom tailor the software. So let me go over here and show you guys. The next switch is going to be our starter motor. We're not going to hit that because we're very low on battery power, and I don't even know if our starter will want to even hit. Next switch is going to be fuel pump, and then we have fan. So let's try fan here. So I'm going to push this in a second, but I want to show you guys is the screen. So watch when this happens. When I hit this, you're going to see the output here turn on, potentially, if it's within this criteria of the channels. Should be that top one right there, output number 1. That's one of the fans, and then you'll see them go on here in these output screens. So let me do that for you real quick. This is going to be fan. It's on, I can hear it. Switched inputs active, it's on, and then over here one of them is drawing 3 amps and the other one is drawing 2.7. okay, I mean a little off, but they're about the same. And it is total amperage draw now is only 8.2. Let me go ahead and turn this guy off. You can see everything shut off. Now it's only drawing the ECU power. We can go up to our switch again, and let's try high beams. So this switch is going to be for our high beams. See if we can kind of see that. Yep, lights turn on. If you go here, you can clearly see that it's drawing 8 amps. Now let's try our low beam. So it's off, go low beam. It's drawing 10.9 amps on output number 12. Shows active here for our switched input, and then our output. Turn that off. We can go indicators now. I'll show you guys indicators. So let's go indicator there, and you can see it flashing. So our indicator is flashing. And over here on our output screen, you can actually see it. Flip it around because it's kind of inrush. You can see the inrush coming in, and it's going to like 4 point, hard to say, 4 point something down to like 3.8, maybe even as high as like 7 amp draw just as a quick inrush. But that's okay. And you can see that it's still flashing. You can try the other indicator. It's going to do the same thing on the other channel. It's flashing. Should look very similar. And that's most of it, guys.